Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's Rashad Jennings right here, retired running back in the NFL, season 24, Dancing with the Stars champ, and New York Times best-selling author. And you're right now tuned in to FanDuel Sportsbooks, more ways to win.
Yes, Rashad Jennings is a fan of the show. Welcome to the big time and welcome inside the FanDuel Sportsbook here at the Meadowlands. The former Giants running back is with us today talking the biggest names in the game. Plus, we're bringing you game breakdowns, DFS, and of course, best bets. It's week 7. You're watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. I'm Lisa Kerney, and it is go time. So make sure you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up for your new account, and plug in the promo code right there on your screen. More Ways 1,000. You're going to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. And let's kick this thing off with a huge matchup in the AFC North. The 4-2 Bengals at the 5-1 Ravens. You guys, let's get right into this show. And how about rookie wideout Ja'Marr Chase? The number 5 overall pick ranks 4th in receiving yards, 2nd in yards per catch, and has helped the Bengals off to a very hot start. He'll be up against a Ravens defense that shut down a Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert, last week. Baltimore gave up just 195 yards passing and 6 points while picking up their 5th straight win. Lamar Jackson's numbers, now they weren't eye-popping in that game, but that former Giants running back, Rashad Jennings, he told me Jackson is changing the NFL like another current superstar changed another sport. Take a listen.
He's one guy that I would never tell my child to idolize, because there's probably no chance that you could ever remotely be as good as him. I think a lot of people that watch the game and commentate don't realize how successful he is as a passer, because it's just overran by how well he is as a runner. He's actually a just complete quarterback. He's definitely changed the game of how you play it. He's one of the guys that has, I would say, him to football is kind of like Steph Curry to basketball, and how you have to measure how you play the game differently.
And Rashad had a lot to say about Lamar Jackson. We'll hear from him a little bit later in the show. But interesting comparison, Dave and Pony there to Steph Curry. Jackson and the Ravens now 6.5-point home favorites in this matchup. Dave, give me your pick.
Well, we know Lamar Jackson's a great player, but the problem for the Bengals is they don't score on the Ravens. So even if Lamar has a subpar game, the last 2 years, the Bengals have got a field goal each game, actually the last 2 games last year, against the Ravens. I mean, they just cannot score. Ravens have won the last 3 games against the Bengals by 35, 24, and 36 points. The route is going to be on here. Also, the Bengals won last week. They're 0-4 against the spread when they won the previous week. So I just don't think they're going to be able to put any points on the board here, Pony.
Totally disagree, Dave. You know,
Good.
Those games you're talking about, there was no Ja'Marr Chase. There wasn't this wide receiver who I think was dropping balls in the preseason on purpose to throw opposing defenses off the scent. He should win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the hidden gem to this game is the Bengals defense, Lisa, which comes in ranked 5th in the NFL. They threw a lot of money at this defense in free agency, and I think it's the difference. They cover and win outright in Baltimore.
And that is how you start a show, with dueling takes on that breakdown. Great stuff, guys. Time now to take our research to the next level. For that, we turn to Next Gen Stats for an analytical perspective on this matchup. Now, the NFL analyzes the location, speed, and acceleration of every player on every single play, then creates various data sets that we get to tap into. So, Ed, got to get you in here. You're our analytics guy. Give us a Next Gen stat that you are using to pick this Bengals-Ravens game.
Lisa, Joe Burrow deserves to be in the conversation for Comeback Player of the Year, one of the top touchdown scorers in the NFL. But let's look at a more reliable statistic from 1 week to the next. If you look at his season-long quarterback grid, biggest concern to me involves passes over the middle, where his passer rating is at or below league average. Secondary concern is the intermediate throw. All of the stats that you see here involve throws between 10 to 19 air yards. He's 18 of 30 there, with a completion percentage over expected of only 2.1%. A total EPA of 8.4, which is kind of low after so many games, and he's thrown 4 picks, which is volatile, yes, but still telling. If the Ravens are anything, they are smart. Defensively, I predict Wink Martindale's group will force Burrow to the intermediate part of the field, and it will be the Bengals' undoing. I've got Baltimore covering.
There you go. Awesome next level info from Next Gen Stats. Great job by you, Ed, as well. If you like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens giving those points, again, right now, 6.5, a winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $93. Again, it is the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And a reminder, you can make your first bet on the app risk-free using the promo code MOREWAYS1000 when you sign up for your new FanDuel Sportsbook account. Let's move on because we got a big game coming at us from Nashville. Speaking of AFC, big one right here, 3-3 Chiefs visiting the 4-2 Titans, who came off a huge game. Now, Kansas City still trying to find their magic. We've seen this a little rough there with Kansas City. They've turned the ball over 14 times this year. That is most in the NFL. As for the Titans, again, coming off a huge Monday night win over the Bills. Derrick Henry going off for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 20 carries, guys. Credit to that defense as well for that big stop to seal the win. Tennessee getting 4.5 in this matchup. Pony, I double-checked this line 10 times. Plus money at home with Derrick Henry. What are your thoughts?
Well, Dave, I know you hang out with a lot of professional bettors, too. You're around these people. They say the toughest thing to predict in football is turnovers, that there's a lot of luck involved week to week, season to season. It's not something you can expect. And so Kansas City has turned the ball over so much. They're dead last. Lisa, you hit on it, 14. I just can't imagine that every week Mahomes is going to be so sloppy with the ball. He's turning it over 2 or 3 times a game. So for that reason, I think if Kansas City doesn't give it away, they're going to score almost every possession against Tennessee. So I think they cover the number in this matchup, Dave.
They've been giving it away in stupid ways, though. I mean, it's just some boneheaded plays that they're making where they're just turnovers that they should not be making. Is that suddenly going to change this week? I just have not been impressed with the Chiefs this year. This line seems like it's reflective of the 2020 Chiefs. They're still making them this team that is great when they have not been. They gave up 36 points when they went to Baltimore, their first road game. They gave up 30 when they went to Philadelphia. And even last week, they were losing in the third quarter against Washington. I just don't think they really deserve to be favored by 4.5 here. Titans, they're hot right now. They won 4 out of 5. It would be 5 in a row, but they had that overtime loss to the Jets. But I think as hot as they are, still no respect for this team at home. They did it last week, beating the Bills plus 5.5. I think they'll cover here with the 4.5, so I'm going to take the points.
All right, great points by both of you guys. But as a Kansas City girl, maybe I will tail Pony, and maybe you will too. If you like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs giving those points on the road, a winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $93. FanDuel Sportsbook app, hit it up. And time now for our DFS download. And of course, that means a chance to win millions in prizes for free. Yes, FanDuel's hooking it up for you for free. Just head to FanDuel.com, sign up for the weekly free DFS contest and play free every single week. That's what weekly means. Just sign up, set your roster, play, and win. And of course, our job here on More Ways to Win is to give you more ways to win and help you score those points. So FanDuel editor-in-chief JJ Zachariason is in-house with us here with his best values for Week 7. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Lisa, the first value that I like this week is Jalen Waddle. The Miami Dolphins pass catchers, they're a little bit banged up. We saw that this past week, and this past week, Jalen Waddle saw a lot of volume in that Dolphins offense. He ended up catching 10 of his 13 targets for 70 yards, and he had a pair of touchdowns. Miami's been one of the pass-heaviest teams this year in neutral game scripts, and they get an Atlanta team that's been a top 10 opponent for wide receivers when looking at adjusted fantasy points allowed. So as long as those injuries are lingering, Waddle should see lots of volume, making him a solid option at $5,900. Next is Darrell Williams. I like Darrell Williams last week. I like him again this week. In his first games without Clyde Edwards-Helaire last week, Williams saw 87.5% of Kansas City's running back rushes, and he had a near 9% target share. I'll take that all day long in a Patrick Mahomes-led offense. Williams should continue operating as the workhorse against Tennessee this weekend in a game with by far the highest over-under on this slate. So he's a really cost-effective way to get a piece of that game. And then finally, just a little bit more expensive than Darrell Williams is Leonard Fournette. He's $7,000. Fournette's been Tampa Bay's workhorse running back for a lot of the season, but especially over the last 3 weeks. Over his team's last 3 games, he's averaged a target share per game of 12.5% and a running back rush share of 72%. We know that Tampa Bay's offense can score points. I don't really care who the opponent is. This weekend, Tampa Bay has an implied team total of 30 points. I want their running back. I want Leonard Fournette, and he's a very, very nice price point at $7,000.
I am tailing all of that business. Leonard Fournette did his dang thing in week 6. I'm going to see him do his dang thing in week 7 as well. There you have it. Go to FanDuel.com. Sign up for free DFS competitions right now. And, of course, every week of this NFL season, use JJ's information for a chance to win millions in prizes. Follow our guru at Late Round QB on Twitter and Insta. Hit up his podcast as well, the Late Round Podcast on Apple Podcasts. Thank you, JJ. And let's get back to our game previews now. And the 3-3 Bears are in Tampa to take on those 5-1 Bucks. Chicago's 2-game winning streak snapped with a home loss to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. You know, all the drama that came with that. Now the Bears face another great in Tom Brady, who's having one of the best years of his career. Leads the NFL in passing yards, second in touchdown passes. The Bucks are getting respect for it, too, here. 12.5-point home favorites. Dave, a big number right there. It did come down from 13.5. Is it too high?
I don't think it is. You know, there are some huge numbers this week, by the way, with the Cardinals, right around 17.
Yeah.
But this is a number that I don't think they can make high enough. I'm surprised it did come down because the Bucks are so good at home, averaging 41.3 points a game. That is the best in the NFL. The Bears, by the way, Ed, this year already have lost on the road by 20 points twice. So they're used to getting blown out in these situations. They're 1-8 against the spread on the road when playing teams with the better than average home record. So this is a spot where I think they are going to get toasted by the Bucks. I think 12.5 is not nearly high enough.
Well, one of the reasons why I think that number's come back down is because the Bucks defense has been really questionable. I mean, one of the things that we've seen is that they are giving up a lot of points and a lot of yards as well. The more important factor to me involves Justin Fields, the Chicago quarterback. Look, progress is not linear. It's going to ebb and flow, especially with when dealing with a rookie quarterback. I get his success rate is third worst among starters right now, but his average depth of target is one of the longer ones in all of football at 10.6 yards. What does that mean? Well, if you're taking on a defense with a lot of holes, like Tampa Bay's has with that heavy 3, heavy 4 cover, well, you have some opportunities, and I think Justin Fields will have enough opportunities here to at least cover a pretty large spread.
All right, guys, let's move on. Time to get to prime time, and we are starting with Sunday Night Football. We got the 2-4 Colts facing the 2-3 Niners. Colts coming off their best showing offensively and defensive, scoring 31 points, giving up just 3 points. I know you guys are sitting there saying it was against the 1-win Texans, but this is the NFL. Little respect there. For the Niners, we saw rookie quarterback Trey Lance in week 5, but Jimmy Garoppolo is back under center after resting his injured calf over their bye week. So the 49ers now giving 4 to these Colts. Ed, bringing you right back in here. Who do you have in this Sunday night matchup?
Well, one of the things that we kept getting told time and time again as to why the 49ers should be favored in the division and maybe even have a chance to make the Super Bowl is that the defense was going to be really good. Well, so far that's been a big question mark. Now, yes, injuries have something to do with that, but let's compare defenses here and see where we stand. When you look at EPA per drop back, the 49ers rank 13th in the NFL, which is, about average. Indianapolis is 20th, just slightly below average. But look at quarterback pressure rate. This is important. The 49ers get pressure on the opposing quarterback 26.8% of the time. That's 17th. Indianapolis is slightly better, 26.9%, 15th highest in football. And so defensively, to me, it's a bit of a wash. Carson Wentz is playing a little bit better over these last few weeks, and I feel like 4 is just too big of a number. I'm backing the Colts here.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way. I think the Niners' defensive stats probably don't take into account the quarterbacks they've seen in the last few weeks. They've gone against Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray. So that's how you get a 49ers losing streak. And now Carson Wentz, congratulations, you beat the Texans. Still plenty of doubt about him being able to hold up, too, with his ankle injuries. I think San Francisco's in a must-win spot, and I think they cover the 4.
Let's move on now to the Monday night matchup here. The 3-2 Saints head to the Pacific Northwest, one of my favorite places, to face the 2-4 Seahawks. A surprising season for Seattle, at least for me. New Orleans, coming off their bye, has a winning record despite ranking last in the NFL in passing attempts and completions and second to last in net passing yards. For the Hawks, you got to look at their quarterback situation as well. Backup QB Geno Smith rallied the Seahawks on Sunday night against the Steelers, but fumbled in overtime, ultimately costing them the game. So Smith and the Seahawks getting 5.5 points at home. Pony, you're in Pittsburgh. Who you got in this one?
You know, I'm just so confused as to the way that the Saints have coached Jameis Winston this year. 169 passing yards per game. It's like Sean Payton's afraid to unleash this guy who once upon a time led the NFL in passing yards and is a former #1 overall pick. So I'm going to take Seattle in this game because I think there is a big quarterback disparity. But Dave, for whatever reason, New Orleans plays it so close to the best, I don't think they can cover 5.5.
Well, who are the Seahawks playing here? The Bills, the Bucks? I mean, how are the Saints a 5.5 point road favorite? Who are they to be favored by that much? I like the Seahawks as well, but the key reason for me, and this will be my stat of the week, the Saints play the Bucks next week. The teams that play the Bucks the following week end up either losing outright as a chalk, or it's happened 6 times so far this year, 1-5 against the spread. 3 of them were favored, like the Saints are, and have lost outright. So I see them possibly losing this game. I think they're going to squeak by, but I think they're looking ahead to play the Super Bowl champs next week.
Sneaky great betting stat right there, Dave. Thank you. Love the numbers, love the context. Of course I need more. Let's dip back in on those next-gen stats. Ed, you used next-gen to pick the Bengals-Ravens game earlier in the show. Now I want you to give us 3 bets based on that next-level data that you think are really good value on the FanDuel Sportsbook app for Week 7. What stands out to you?
Lisa, let's take our talents to South Beach. In his first game back from injury, Dolphins gunslinger Tua Tagovailoa had what I'd call a mediocre performance. Here's his passing chart against the Jaguars. Completion percentage requires context. Connecting on more than 70% of your throws should be solid, but his completion percentage over expected was only 0.2%. Why? Well, he threw short most of the time. 57.4% of his throws were between 0 to 9 air yards, and his receivers let him down with a 6.4% drop rate, one of the higher marks of the week. If needing growth isn't tough enough, Miami is playing a game a week after being in London. Teams normally get a bye after a London game. Miami asked for this. Oh, they're asking for it, all right. So the question is, how do you adjust your number with a super small sample size of a team playing after a London game when that never happens? That I don't know. I'm just going to take Atlanta and be happy with it. Next, Lions head coach Dan Campbell said his gunslinger Jared Goff needs to step it up more. Well, coach, maybe you need to put him in a better position to succeed. Let's look at Goff's QB grid for 2021. He has always been his best with play action. Well, Detroit tries these fakes only 12.3% of the time. That's 3rd worst in football. Well, maybe pre-snap motion would help. Nope. 44% of the time, 25th lowest in the NFL. Goff is also having to throw in contested situations. His receivers are open only 46% of the time, and Goff's average depth of target is 6.6 yards. That is shallow and borderline unproductive. Yeah, maybe Jared Goff isn't playing well, but it is not entirely his fault. Until things change, I cannot back them in this big spread against the Rams. Finally, if you were worried about any leadership void in Las Vegas after the coaching change, fear not. Derek Carr is there, and so is his favorite target, tight end Darren Waller. Here is his reception chart from Week 6. It was only 5 catches where Carr was distributing the football evenly, but those 5 catches led to a catch rate over expected of 44.9%, a sturdy 10.1 air yards per target with a couple of solid opportunities for runs after the catch. And keep in mind, defenses do not run press coverage on him, meaning they aren't disrupting this route at the line of scrimmage. Defenses only press 3.8% of the time, one of the lower marks in football. Waller faces an Eagles unit that has looked vulnerable at times. I've got the Raiders covering once again.
Yes, I love that stuff so much, Ed. All the charts just give me more. Injected in my veins, Ed. Thank you. Now take that info, use it to place your bets on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. And you can place a wager on the bets we just talked about, or just keep scrolling. There are hundreds of others, and they are available right now. All right, let's move ahead now, and let's speed things up a little bit, right? Hit our betting markets with some quick picks here. Shouting out your local teams as we rip through the rest of the Week 7 slate, guys. I give you the game. You have 10 seconds to give me your pick. Let's roll. Ed, Washington hosted Patrick Mahomes last week. This week, the 2-4 football team gets Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Washington getting 7.5.
When you look at fourth down decision-making, determining how often a team should be going for it, when the conditions are favorable for such things, well, Washington's in the middle of the pack, but Green Bay is way more efficacious in that regard. I'm backing the Packers.
Pony, the 1-4 Jets coming off their bye week. They're in New England facing the 2-4 Patriots. Jets getting 7 in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets in this spot. I don't think that the Patriots, based on how they performed at home this year, lost to New Orleans, just got beat by Dallas in overtime, deserve to be favored by that big a number against anyone. Take the Jets.
Dave, from the Jets to the Giants, and they're 1-5. They're home hosting the Panthers, who've lost 3 straight after starting the season with those 3 wins. Giants are getting 3 here.
Well, for a team that's lost 3 straight to be favored on the road, it shows you how bad the Giants' offense is. Since they got Jason Garrett back in the start of last season to fix their offense, it's gotten worse. 17.8 points a game. I just can't. I'm going Carolina.
And that wraps up our rip. Great stuff by you guys. And as I mentioned, the Giants are home this week, which means this is the place to be. The FanDuel Sportsbooks at the Meadowlands is open 7 days a week. Come watch, wager, and win with your favorite teams and players. There's a shot inside the sportsbook right now, and it's absolutely hopping right this second as I'm standing here above all of that action. Just get to MetLife, go to the parking lot from MetLife Stadium. It's easy to get here on game day. Just hop the free round-trip shuttle from Lot G. Now, if you don't have a parking pass, it's all good. Head to Red's Restaurant in Carlstadt, New Jersey. Catch the $10 shuttle to MetLife, then head to Lot G for that free shuttle ride. We've got you covered. We'll bring you right here to the FanDuel Sportsbook. Mass transit, of course, available as well. Sunday's going to be absolutely hopping. And mark your calendars for the fun ahead as well. You're going to want to be here at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands for the 2021 Breeders' Crown, taking place at the Meadowlands Racetrack on October 29th and 30th. That's Friday and Saturday. Get your friends, come out for an awesome time at the Meadowlands and the FanDuel Sportsbook. This is your personal invitation to wager, win, and have fun with us here at the Meadowlands. We always appreciate you. We love having you watch our show here in More Ways to Win. And we'll get you from the track back to the field now, and time to give some underdogs a little love, guys. This is where I ask each of you to give me an underdog that you think will win outright here in Week 7. Ed, hey, shout out to you, by the way. You nailed the Raiders over the Broncos last week. So since you are our winner, I throw it to you first. Give me one moneyline moneymaker that you are sure of here in Week 7.
Well, when Geno Smith came on in relief work in that Thursday night game, he ranked 15th among all quarterbacks for that particular week. Yeah, it was a good bit worse against the Steelers, but I think that fumble at the end of the game had a lot to do with that. But if you look at his overall body of work, going up against a really volatile quarterback in Jameis Winston, Seattle has a shot here, and I think they can do it.
I'm going to throw in a little bit of a bigger underdog than that. We know Aaron Rodgers, he owns the Bears. He still owns the Bears. They play the Cardinals next week, by the way, the undefeated Cardinals. You think they might be looking ahead? Hell yes, they are. The Washington football team's going to come in here and get them by surprise. I'm going to Washington to pull off the win.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles as a small underdog in Vegas. I think teams like the Raiders and Chargers are figuring out or discovering that they don't really have home field advantage yet. You know, so many Eagles fans are going to make that trek to Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised if Derek Carr had to go to a silent count, and I think that might factor into the Eagles pulling off the upset.
Dogs to win outright. You guys know I love all that plus money. You can tailor, guys, or do your own dang thing, and you can place your first bet risk-free up to $1,000 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Sign up for your new account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. You don't see it right there on your screen, but it is on the show all show long, and it gets better. Our experts are giving you their risk-free bet of the week. So guys, time to get to work. Time to make sure you work for your money here. You've got a $1,000 risk-free bet to place right now. Dave, where are you placing that risk-free bet?
I'm going to play a three-team parlay, not get quite as aggressive with the money line with Washington. I'm going to take the points. They are getting more than a touchdown against the Packers, so take them with the spread. I like the Eagles-Raiders game to fly over that 49, so I'm going to take the over there. I'm going to end with San Francisco being able to take care of business off of the bye week to beat the Colts just straight up on the money line. $1,000 to get me back almost $5,300.
Give me some of that same game parlay action. I'm going straight to Sunday Night Football for Colts 49ers. Alternate total over 48.5. Yeah, I talked about these two defenses, but they are injured. They're banged up. There are some question marks, and so I think both quarterbacks could shine here. And I think Carson Wentz is playing well enough over these last few games to be able to cover this spread. So put the two together, total $4,400.
I loved themed parlays in college. I think that was the reason why I had to call mom back home so many times to give me extra money. I got myself into jams. But I'm convinced this one's going to work. Give me both New York teams on the money line to win. Parlay the Jets and the Giants. I just don't trust the opposing quarterbacks, Mac Jones and Sam Darnold, to get it done. $1,000 risk-free. You're going to collect over $7,000.
And now your wife is calling you with questions, Pony, about needing that money to buy those coffee table candles. Appreciate you guys. Gamblers, make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bet. Remember to use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. You're going to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. It's easy, it is legal, and it is live. You take your winnings if you hit, and you get your money back in site credit if you don't, and you play again on us. It's that easy. And of course, not just football on this show. We're bringing you news from the track as well. The Breeders' Cup World Championships returns in November to where the turf meets the surf in Del Mar, California. The world's best thoroughbred racehorses will compete for championship honors and more than $31 million in prize money. It's all happening Friday, November 5th and Saturday, November 6th. Tickets are available at Breeders' Cup right now. I will be there. Charlie will be there. Come out and say hi to both of us. If you can't make it to Del Mar, it is all good. You can watch all 14 championship races on NBC Sports or TVG. And TVG is not only your place to bet the Breeders' Cup, but you can bet every race every day right now by downloading the TVG mobile app. All right, guys, game picks, totals, parlays. We've ripped through a ton of fun bets here for Week 7, but there are also dozens of futures bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now that can lead to a big payout. You pile them up, and the more you're looking to get. That's what we're all about here. So let's bring back our quick pick segment to bet the futures, rapid fire style, if you will. Guys, I give you the bet, you give me your pick in 10 seconds or less. And we are starting with a big favorite to finish with the most regular season rushing yards. Dave, I'm going to get your pick here in just a moment. But first, former Giants running back Rashad Jennings weighed in, told me there is no stopping King Henry.
Unless he got hurt, there's no team that's going to stop him within 16 games, 17 now, 17 games to stop him from rushing over 1,000 and being the leader. He's a stylish running back that reminds me of old school smash mouth football.
So, Dave, can anyone catch Henry?
Well, if you ever see me giving out a minus 500 play in this show, you have permission to kick me off immediately. So I'm going to go somewhere else. I'll take Jonathan Taylor at plus 2,500. He's underutilized right now. They're rushing the ball about 13 to 16 times. He's 51 yards off of second. Now, obviously, it would take an injury to Henry, but we saw what's happened to McCaffrey, Barkley. It's not like these running backs get through the season. So give me the value there with Taylor.
I like it. Pony, which team will finish with the best regular season record? The Bills' current favorite there at plus 350. What do you think?
Well, I think Ed'll like this one. I'm going with Dallas. I mean, they've got probably the weakest remaining schedule of any team that's in first place. They get to still play all those NFC East teams. I think there's a lot of value in taking the Cowboys.
Ed, what about the Lions? Over or under 2.5 regular season wins?
Well, if you look at the book for the worst record, I believe the Lions are getting even money there if you take them, and they're a heavy favorite. But think about it. Jared Goff may be pinched at some point. They have the 8th toughest record the rest of the way, and the offensive infrastructure is a big question mark. I'm going under here.
I'm glad that we produced this show to end on that high note. Thanks, guys. Game picks, best bets, futures picks, and DFS as well. We covered it all. It's week 7. You guys do your thing. We'll do ours. Thanks for hanging with us. Enjoy the games, and good luck with your bets.
After an unprecedented year apart, the time has finally come to say, welcome back to the prestige and excitement of witnessing history firsthand. This November, beautiful Del Mar will welcome back the world's best thoroughbreds, the brightest stars and most passionate fans to the Breeders' Cup. One experience. That's a breed apart. Tickets on sale now